Hi guys, this is gsn.com and I'm here with the small Samsung Galaxy S21 5G, the smallest handset of the trio, the 6.2-inch one for an unboxing. Now as you know, there aren't many accessories in the box, but there are some, so we're here to show them to you. And aside from the S21, we also have the SmartTag, which in some countries you received as a present if you pre-order the device. Okay, so about this later on towards the end of the unboxing. We've already unboxed the Galaxy S21 Plus and we're very close to finalizing its review. And this is actually its smaller brother. The two have something like 90% in common, except for the diagonal, the battery, and of course the material of the back side. In this case it's plastic, but it's a beautiful plastic, which is colored purple or violet, as some people would say. The back camera is exactly the same on the S21 and the S21 Plus. I already set up the device and I've already taken pictures with it, done benchmarks, and formed a pretty solid impression. Now let's see the few things which do remain inside the box, but before that I want to remind you that the phone costs around $799. That's the price tag this year, less than the S20 last year. So in this envelope you can find a metal key used to access the slot, I mean the nano SIM one. We don't have micro SD on this device. Here we have the quick start guide. Then comes the actual inside of the box here, which includes the cable going from USB-C to USB-C, and this time with a much looser fit than before. Usually cables are squeezed tight and you'll find it hard to properly unsqueeze them when you want to use them for charging for the first 1 or 2 weeks. And finally we also have this, the warranty card. That's everything available inside the box. That's all. No headphones, no charger, which has people already polarized quite a bit. Now, the brightness is turned pretty high on this device and it's actually at about 50%, so definitely a heavy hitter, this OLED we have here, AMOLED actually. So let's talk about the design. Now, as I said before, this is plastic, but a quality one, which lets you still perform wireless charging and also lets the device still have its IP68 certification. Now, what we're dealing with here is a handset with close measurements compared to its predecessors. The thickness is exactly the same as the S20, 7.9mm, but it's a bit heavier at 170 grams compared to the predecessor's 163 grams. Both of them have pretty similar screens, 6.2 inches in diagonal, and the resolution has decreased from 3200 over 1440 on the S20 to 2400 over 1080 pixels on the S21. At the front we have a glass panel which is flat and has Gorilla Glass Victus protection, while here you can see an aluminum frame which is very well put together. And aside from that, well, let's see what else we got here. A beautiful color. The colors in which the S21 is available in are Phantom Gray, Phantom White, Phantom Violet, and Phantom Pink. Now this Phantom Violet has an interesting coloration of the frame and the camera area. The camera at the back is now wrapped around the corner, a trend which Samsung inaugurated. I'm curious to see if anyone copies it. And the sides are basically gold, closer to rose gold if you ask me. It's definitely a more feminine phone in the version that we have here. And you just saw me using the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner embedded in the screen, which works better than the S20 generation. Now a few words about the screen panel. It's a 6.2-inch Dynamic AMOLED 2X with 120 Hz refresh rate, but it's of the adaptive kind, so it can drop down to 48 Hz if you're using less intensive applications or features. It has always on display, it has HDR10 Plus support, and it looks pretty charming when you're watching videos or playing your games. Now inside we have a familiar heart, is the Exynos 2100, the 5nm CPU, and I have already performed a bunch of benchmarks on this processor, which I can actually reveal. Okay, so I would actually say that we performed all the benchmarks. This is the Geekbench score. This is the multi-core test, 3588. The predecessor, the Galaxy S20, had 2797, so you can notice quite the jump. We also performed a Antutu 643,000, and the predecessor had 476,000. So it's clear that we have an upgrade here, and Samsung seems to have gotten it right this time. I didn't sense any throttling, any overheating, and any problems. And in case you're wondering about the rest of the specs, well, what we got here is a combination of 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, UFS 3.1, and I will highlight again the fact that we are lacking a micro SD. We do have a 4000 mAh battery, which charges up at 25 watts via wire, but you can also do wireless charging with the device's backside at about 15 watts. And also you can do reverse charge by placing a watch here, another phone, a pair of headphones, and juicing them up. Okay, so another thing I can already tease you, and before we do that, let's actually enter our website, gsmdome.com, so you can also get familiar with the virtual keyboard. Okay, as I said before, another thing I can tease you with is the fact that the battery life seems to have increased a bit. Now we have 5 extra hours when it comes to the video playback compared to the predecessor, so that's nice to see. And when it comes to acoustics, we have stereo speakers. There's one at the bottom next to the USB-C. There's also one at the top, which is in a very small slit above the front facing camera for the selfie. Speaking of which, it's cut in a punch hole, I would say a reasonably small one, and it's a 10 megapixel shooter which can shoot 4K video at 60 frames per second, which is not bad. And then we go to the back side. You can basically copy paste everything I said for the S21 Plus. Is the exact same camera. A combo of 12 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization, 64 megapixel camera, telephoto with 3x optical zoom, or they're calling it hybrid zoom actually, and a 12 megapixel fixed focus ultrawide camera used to aid you with stabilization thanks to the super steady video feature. Now, if you want to get really technical, we have some extra functionality for the camera. For example, if you go to the more section, you'll see that we got a director's view, which is a new feature, and lets you alternate between the cameras, basically. The camera lenses, you can switch from telephoto to regular and ultra wide. You can also see yourself. You can split the screen in two, just one, or have all the cameras handy for a quick preview. Aside from that, single take has been upgraded to single take 2.0 with more instances and better AI to tweak your shots. It does smart crops, filter photos, short clips, pictures, what have you. So it's become smarter and with extra effects. Now, aside from that, we have a pro mode, we have a portrait mode, portrait video, pro video, and also with the portrait mode there is some novelty here. So this is my face, and here we have the extra options, studio lighting, and each of them is tweakable, and you can set it up like this, make the background lighter or darker, and also mess around with the brightness or darkness of your face, which is useful for people who actually need to post selfies or content of themselves working from home. That's the core idea of the new studio options. There's many more things to cover here, like the fact that we get a brand new zoom. You can see here the level we're working at, and this is the zoom lock, which stabilizes the zoom at a more advanced level, which probably works better if you're checking out something from the distance. Now, as far as the video is concerned, you can now shoot videos which go up to 8K at 24 frames per second. And I erroneously said in the S21 Plus unboxing that you could shoot 8K 30 frames per second last year. I was wrong. Last year there was 8K 20p as well, just like this year. Now, other things to mention, the fact that the fingerprint scanner works so well is not a coincidence. The fingerprint area has been increased 1.7 times. And in case you're wondering about the software, this is One UI 3.1 applied on top of Android 11. We get those chat bubbles. We have the new volume menu. We also have the new type of permissions. Let's see what else. The brand new widgets on the lock screen, which are more minimalistic now. There is a dark mode still, and quite a few more options to uncover. And if you do this swipe at the bottom, you can see some useful options, like we have link to Windows, you have screen recorder, DeX with DeX wireless also on offer. There is Knox for your extra protection, and you have private share if you're keen on a more private way of sharing your content. On the connectivity front, as the name says, it's a 5G handset, this one. And we also have Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.0, NFC, GPS, and an USB-C 3.2 port at the bottom. Bixby is still available, and also available is the Edge menu from here with its typical shortcuts and typical associations of apps which will open up in split screen. Okay, I think this is about it, and as I promised, some details about the SmartTag. This little baby is about $30, if not less. It's been bundled in a few countries, and you can attach it to your keys, wallet, or the collar of your dog. It's a SmartTag. It can be used to track your, as I said before, dog, wallet, keys, and so forth, but also can track your phone. You should go here to the Smart Things. We have them all connected. The SmartTag is nearby, and you can actually tweak around its settings. It's connecting right now, and you can let it find your device, this device, or some other devices that we've synced in the past, and you can just press the tag button twice to make it ring for 1 minute. So let's try it. Okay, so that's the idea. If my phone was lost right now, I'll definitely find it because of the loud sound. And I can also do something similar for this tag. I can trigger a noise coming from it, from the phone, by pressing the special options of it. And I can already see other devices that I have here, and I can alternate between them in the Smart Things Find. So this is my current device, this is another device in a totally different city, and this is the SmartTag, and you can switch between them and check out their position on the map. A bit creepy if you have your spouse with the phone and you're feeling jealous, but let's forget about that. And you can also change the actions which happen when you're pressing some buttons. You can run scenarios. Anyways, that's the idea here. This is the SmartTag, and this is the Galaxy S21 5G. We're getting accustomed to this little fellow. It's new, but it's trendy. People have been buying this, especially if they're forgetful. This is from gsno.com. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing without a charger and headphones. We'll be back with a full review very soon. Bye bye.